I'm Nico Monday, and my wife Amelia and I opened Market Restaurant 7 years ago. This will be our 7th season. We're sitting here on Lobster Cove in Annisquam, which is just this beautiful, beautiful little kind of peninsula on a peninsula on a peninsula in Gloucester, Massachusetts. A real, I think, a hidden gem on the North Shore. We're not on the way to anything, but once you get here, you don't want to leave. We're open 5 months a year. We start in mid-May and we go to mid-October. And kind of depending on what sort of a winter it's been and what sort of a fall it is, weather dependent, we try and squeeze all that time in. But we are just perched right out here on the ocean, and you don't want to be out here when it's cold out. So Alice Waters is actually my godmother, and she's the founder of Chez Panisse. My wife and I actually met when we were both cooking there, and we were there for about 6 years together. I grew up right in Berkeley, just a few blocks away, and I started working there when I was 13. Bussing tables and working in the wine room and polishing copper and whatever else they would let me do to eat staff meal afterwards, and just grew up loving that food. And really, I think that's where my cooking all stems from, is just my love for eating, which is where it should be. And it's a magnificent place. They've been going for 40 some odd years, and still a very strong community for us out there. We still, since we are a seasonal place, we still try and get some folks to come out from California. That relationship is still very strong for us. I think that the most important thing that Chez Panisse and that Alice and all of the people that they work with out there do is just make sure that it's always ingredient driven and about the simplicity of the food and not doing too much to it. A lot of what we do is try and work with the best people that we can find up and around this area and travel as little distance as possible to get it. So we've obviously being right here on Lobster Cove, the ocean, we try and take as much as we can from the local seafood fishing communities. Also, there's a really wonderful young burgeoning farmers community on the North Shore that we're really thankful for, is working so hard, because the produce just keeps getting better every year. Gives us a lot more opportunities to create the food that we want to create when the produce itself is so perfect. Our beef purveyor up in Maine was one of the first purveyors that we were able to find. Our first year that we were open, my little brother was working with us, and we would just send him out in our Subaru with a fistful of dollars and tell him not to come back until the Subaru was full of food. And one day he didn't come back for a long time, but he came back with some beautiful, beautiful beef from Warren, Maine, which is about 3.5 hours north of here. We continue to get that, and we continue to have to drive up there to get it, but we think that it's worth it. They've got their own slaughtering facility, which I think is so important, because there's only a couple of them in Massachusetts, and even if you're buying the beef that has been raised properly and all that, once they go to the slaughtering facility, it's a lot of things get lost in that process. That, and they're a funny group of Maynards that kind of just, a group of neighbors that all buy each other's cattle and process it at this one place, and you're never sure exactly whose you're getting, but it's all coming from the same town, and it's delicious, most important. Here at the Market Restaurant, the menu changes every single day. Island Creek oysters from Duxbury, Massachusetts. They are medium-sized this week. They are meaty and briny and delicious. The mignonette, of course, is shallots and sparkling wine and sparkling water and white wine vinegar with a little black pepper. So I would have to say my favorite dish that represents Cape Ann is whatever I'm cooking that night, because that's what I woke up in the morning thinking about, feeling strongly about. The first call was to the fishmonger, and we found the best piece of whatever we were looking for, or sometimes he tells us what the best piece is, and we just go no further and then let that, start designing the menu for us. I don't know if we find this building found us. My wife grew up just about 5 minutes on the other side of Annisquam, and then also in Lanesville, just about 10 minutes that way. So she's been part of this area for a long time. Her little brother still works with us, and he grew up right in here. She probably worked here at some point during high school. We started looking for seasonal places that needed operators all up and down the East Coast, and this was the first one that we looked at, right in her hometown. We have a great relationship with this small community of Annisquam that we're in, and they're really supportive of us, which we're thankful for. And I think that was really important, especially when we began 7 years ago, was to establish a good community relationship with everybody around here, because they weren't always sure, who the new people taking over the restaurant were gonna be. Along with that, we've got a really strong presence in the rest of Gloucester. 3 years ago, we opened our sister restaurant called Short in Maine downtown, and that's, I think, really kind of helped bridge the gap between, these outer lying communities and like the heart of Gloucester downtown. And then people come from all over the North Shore and Boston. I would say more, people that are in the restaurant business come up to see us all the time, and we're really thankful for that because in the summertime we don't get down to see them, but I mean, this is where you want to be. So I'd say it's a pretty good cross-section at this point. And then of course in the summer, you have a fair amount of tourists out here, which is also wonderful for us. But it's good, whatever keeps us busy. I would say that my favorite restaurant in Gloucester is a no-brainer. Short and Main and the Market Restaurant, but I know that's not really what you were asking. Yeah, we love to eat out. Unfortunately, we don't get to do it very often in the summer, but on the few occasions that we do, we love to go down and see our friends in Cambridge and Boston. Craigie on Main has always been one of my favorite restaurants down there. I'm also a big sushi fan. I've been known to drive up to Portland, Maine to go to Mayake and drive back the same night, just when I've got that hankering. When we're in town, we like to keep it in the family. One of our friends is becoming the chef at a new place in Gloucester that hasn't opened yet called Tono, and we're really excited to become neighbors with them downtown and excited to eat that food. In the North Shore, there's a big bounty up here and a lot of people that appreciate good food and not enough good restaurants.